The facial animations of Mass Effect Andromeda are bad. Everybody knows that. It's so bad that it becomes a punchline on the internet. And the huge amount of memes circulating on the web proves it. But nobody really knows what's behind such a disaster. That's the question we are going to answer in this video. Mass Effect Andromeda has not been developed in a hurry. Bioware has been working on this game for years now. However, it is difficult not to notice the many technical problems of the game. The frame rate fall when the action is too intense, a misplaced camera during some dialogues, and of course, the facial animations from another era. We're supposed to be in the next generation of gaming, but this game looks noticeably worse than any of its predecessors. Animation is one of the most criticized features since the early release of the game. As a result, Aaron Flynn, vice president of Bioware, responded to these criticisms by citing a performance bug, and they will improve it. But apparently, it is not just facial expressions that are affected by this famous bug. Several characters have a pretty curious gait, and as the time goes on, none of these problems has been fixed. Jonathan Cooper, a foreign Bioware animator who now works with Naughty Dog, has provided some very interesting explanations on Twitter. He explains that one cannot compare a scripted game like Uncharted 4 or Horizon Zero Dawn to a larger scale RPG. Every encounter in Uncharted is singular and controlled by linear scenarios that are accompanied by unique animations. Such approach is impossible in Mass Effect Andromeda, where the immense amount of dialogue does not allow to spend as much time on the facial animations. Another solution is to let developers draw in a selection of preset animations, as was the case of The Witcher 3 and Dragon Age Inquisition, but even this trick seems hard to apply in Mass Effect. As a result, Bioware developers have decided to classify the dialogues according to their importance and the probabilities that you will trigger them, which explains why the main story offers decent animations, while the worst ones can be found in the side quests. Once the dialogues are ranked, it is an algorithm that will realize the animations, knowing that the more the dialogue is ranked high, the more the developers will spend time to refine the animation. It is likely that some animations for low-level dialogues have not even been touched since their generation by the said algorithm. The question now, why this algorithm did not produce good results? Well, according to Cooper, Bioware initially intends to manually edit and refine everything, so losing time to develop an excellent algorithm would not have been useful at all. But with the approach of the release date, the developers have found themselves over time. Cooper also knows that the gamers have become much more demanding over time, which complicates the increasingly complex work of the animators. For him, the simplest solution is to go through motion capture whenever possible, but of course such technique has its cost. It's obvious that Bioware is fully aware of the problem and is working to mitigate or correct the situation. But on the other hand, and according to the lead designer Ian Fraser, the players should not expect an update for Mass Effect Andromeda to correct the facial animation problems anytime soon. To be fair though, the Mass Effect games have always suffered from technical problems, especially the ones concerning the animation. For example, I remember this annoying glitch where during a conversation, Shepard makes a movement to get out of the room, and then reappears a second later at his initial location before the conversation ends. In short, if the animation can be an important subject for the gamers, let's hope that they do not lose sight of the rest of the game. Andromeda has a lot of other qualities, and it would be a shame if it's overshadowed by these problems. The gunfights, for example, are much more fluid and more dynamic. They force the player to move more regularly and to use the level design smartly. I don't know about you, but for me, the gameplay is the most important aspect in a video game, and at this point, Andromeda doesn't disappoint.